I went into chemo the very first day and they gave me a little bit of pre-med, which is like a steroid Benadryl because they don't know how you're going to react. And they gave me the first bag of chemo drugs. And within 10 cc's, I went into anaphylactic shock. My lungs crushed. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
Get breathe. Scott's like, push the button. And the nurses, I mean, they are unbelievable how fast they work on you. They all ran in and they're like, we're going to give you a high dose of this. My blood pressure went from like 124 to 179 within like 5 seconds. It was like,
oh my God, Candice.
It was bad.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to episode 132 of the On the Runs podcast. It's a big week for everybody coming up. We got the New York City Marathon. We got the hamster wheel. It's Halloween. It's sweater weather, baby. And we got a great episode for you today with a great guest from our pod fam. But first, we're fresh off a run, and I have to say hello to my amazing co-host, 6-star Erica. What's up?
Can I get this kind of intro every time? I'm going to be like, hell yes. But dude, I feel so good post-run. Can I just tell you and the listeners what I actually did after we finished? You ready for this?
You took a shower?
Well, yes, but I stretched. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? You guys, this is like a total turnaround for me.
I've not yet stretched because I had a longer drive home, but that was a spontaneous run for us today. We weren't planning on a run.
No, I'm glad I'm glad you let me know that you wanted to do it. I was like, hell yes, let's go.
Yes. Well, we had a recording today scheduled and they had to postpone. And we reached out to one person to be like, hey, do you think you could quickly squeeze in? Like, are you available tonight? And they're going to a concert, which is pretty cool. Duran Duran, for that matter.
I mean, Duran Duran's up here. We're like a little bit down here. So I get it.
But instead of like trying to like really find someone, I was just like, let's just go for a run instead
always
of record.
A good decision.
Yeah. Running's always a good decision. And there was no Code Browns.
Nope. And there was like nobody there.
5 easy miles. That was weird. Nobody was there. And it did get dark, except that one woman running by herself late at night.
Yep.
We sent a message to Bex. We sent a message to Justin Spencer.
Yes, we did.
We replied to a message from Ryan Painter, who is having a hell of a time right now with a marathon coming up. He's sick and he has tendonitis in his knee, and he's like, it's his first marathon. So Ryan, good luck.
Telling you, dude, take it easy. Do not hurt yourself. There will be others if you wish.
And that next one's going to be a huge PR. So you just go out there and do the distance so you know you got the distance, man. But yeah.
There you go. That's optimism. I like that.
It's been a good freaking Monday.
Not too shabby. It's been busy. I mean, work was work, but I'm really glad you reached out. So that was a good stress reliever before we got to come and do this.
It's been a great weekend. So many cool things over the weekend, like people getting PRs and 100-milers and just like crushing all their races. We're seeing this all on social media. You had a bunch of half marathons. My sister got a 16-minute PR.
Fantastic.
Like, I was bummed I missed the Millennium Race where you all dress up in Halloween costumes because cheerleading, of course.
Oh, no.
But that was a cheerleading practice. The next day, I don't know if you guys who listened to the OTR Classic of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month I dropped last Thursday from the last couple of years, but my co-host wasn't you, Erica. It was Adeline. And she had...
I see.
Yeah,
she's a perfect replacement.
She's not bad. Yeah, she's pretty good. You're right. But she talked about States. States was this weekend. She's not here to talk about it, but just everyone acts surprised when she tells you later. But they're state champions.
I saw your stories. I was looking this weekend. So congratulations, Adeline. You did fantastic.
Yeah. Pretty freaking cool. Cool. Other pod fam, though, like Doozer did the Javelina 100. Or how do you say
Javelina 100.
That's right.
I want to do that so bad.
One day, Erica, the opportunity will happen.
I want to go so bad. I want to go like next year. I'm down.
Top Gun. We. Not I want to do it so bad. We.
You're
We
telling
wanna
me
do it
you
so
will
bad.
run a 100 miler if it's javelina. Are we getting this on the record right now? You
One
will do
day.
a 100 miler.
We.
When you say one day,
I need that in your vocabulary. We.
when you say one day, I want to
We.
know when that's going to be.
We. Just we. Like everything is we until I can't.
Fair enough. Okay.
We.
We.
Doozer did the Javelina 100 or Jundred.
Javelina 100.
19 hours, 53 minutes.
Oh, that is smoking fast. And I don't understand how he went that fast because it was hot as balls that weekend. So I hear. I was not there.
You know what his comment was? Like his race description? 2 words. 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard.
He makes it look easy, though. 19 hours and some change. Jesus. Congrats, Doozer. That is very impressive. And I want to pick your brain someday about all the do's and don'ts and ins and outs of that race because it seems like so much fun. I've heard great things. It's on my bucket list. Our bucket list.
There you go.
See, I'm learning.
I imagine he recorded video and it will be on YouTube soon. I can't wait to see. My sister did the half marathon in the Seacoast Portsmouth area. 16-minute PR.
Absolutely fantastic, Hannah. You crushed it. That was so awesome. She did it with one of her friends too, right? Like I saw like a video of her hugging her friend at the end.
Like, I think her name is Callie Gallant.
Okay,
I might be wrong on
so
Kristen Gallant. I think it's Kristen Gallant. It's a KG initials.
Perfect.
Yeah, she did that. I saw her the night before. We had a pasta dinner with garlic bread and meatballs, and we all had a good time. It was my dad's birthday.
Awesome. Happy birthday, Terry.
And so I go to her at one point. I go, "What's your fueling plan?" And she goes, "I don't know." And so
she's very relaxed about it, and I love it.
But after the race, I talked and I think I was actually talking to my mom. She goes, "Yeah, I think she's going to start thinking like fueling, like that's next." You know, it's so cool because, listen, Erica, we are going to take full credit for Hannah running. She never ran before we started this podcast. Never.
Well, I think it's awesome that she's sticking with it. She's trying. She tried a second one, so you know that she's liking it at least, where she wants to keep going. And I mean, yeah, there's room for improvement with fueling and whatnot. But if she wants to just run for fun, go for it. That's awesome.
I told her that she and I and Adeline should run a turkey trot together because she'll come back. Now, we won't be doing a turkey trot, Erica, because you will be in Myrtle Beach.
Sadly, I will be away this week for Thanksgiving weekend. I would otherwise, and I would travel because the past few years you've been coming down my way with like we did the Nashville one and then we did the Hollis one. So it is my turn to go up, but I'm gonna be away. Maybe I'll find one down in Myrtle Beach.
You should do that. You should totally do that. Like that's what I would do.
Nobody else will do one with me.
You remember?
It's gonna be me.
It's too bad it didn't work out because like 3 years ago, I went to Myrtle Beach for Thanksgiving because Ashley has family down there. It's too bad we weren't there the same time, and we could do a turkey trot together in Myrtle Beach and hand out a bunch of Stoolie stickers.
That would be cool. But hey, I did pack a whole bunch of on the run stuff. I've got buttons and magnets, and I think I'm out of the Stoolie stickers, so I might need to grab some more for you. But I'm bringing them to Hamster Wheel this weekend.
I think we're going to have to order more then.
Well, let me know. I will order some.
I have to mail out a few more packages from recent guests we had, recent new upcoming pod fam. You guys are going to love some of the people we have coming up. This whole entire month of October has been fantastic with the breast cancer awareness. Like,
I can't believe it's already the end of the month, man.
We had 5 amazing. The last 2 years, this is being our third, we only did 3. Like, I was like, we could fill every Tuesday, and we did. This whole thing has been just great. It's like such a cool, everyone's saying like they love these episodes. They're so educational, and hearing these ladies' stories has been just super amazing. And unfortunately, today you're going to hear from a previous member of our pod fam who last time we talked to her, she didn't have breast cancer. So it's like, we're like, unfortunately, you're back on the pod for the wrong reason. We would have loved
to have her in different circumstances, but we were so glad that Candice was able to come back and talk with us and share her journey.
You remember Candice? We met her at ADU just last year, and then we had her on the pod the beginning of this year. nobody, like, she had no clue. It's just like, we never would have thought this would have happened. And this was all just like, kind of like within the next month after recording and having her on. She's such an amazing person. Do we get right to her now and then just talk about other things like Power Zone Pack or what's coming up for Hamster Wheel? And we need to shout out a very special member of our pod family. Congrats. We'll do that after too. But
Yeah, let's do it after. Let's get right to Candice. We can't make the listeners wait any longer.
right. And she's awesome. We love her. So guys, enjoy the final breast cancer awareness episode of 2024. What an amazing month. This has been super cool. I'm so happy we do this and bring these amazing, thriving women to you. So enjoy Candice Burroughs on the On the Runs podcast. Our next guest on the pod is a amazing member of our pod fam. We met her back at ADU. She was a guest earlier this year for episode 93, and she had a wicked big year planned with lots of goals, but that all changed shortly after her life took a turn and a few marathons went on hold. She's back to fill us all in and share her journey along this wild year she's had. Candice Burroughs, welcome back, unfortunately, to the On the Runs podcast.
Unfortunately, fortunately, I love you guys. So, doing this with you and sharing with others is what this is all about. So I'm glad to be here under the circumstances.
We are so happy to see you. Your beautiful smiling face.
Thanks.
But yes, we wish it was under different circumstances. But welcome back nonetheless.
Thank you.
So a lot has happened. Like, we got your whole story back on episode 93. You were going to Tokyo. You were going to run Boston. Weren't you going to do another marathon this fall? You were like on track to be the fastest
you
person
had
ever.
Berlin on
To
deck.
Berlin.
yeah, you were on
That
track
was
to get
number
your
6
sixth star
for you,
this year.
right?
Yeah, that was the goal.
Mhm.
But, whenever I think I have control of a situation, God goes, nope, you don't. And that's where you come to reality and say, okay, things have now changed. So, it's been a year for sure. A lot of ups and downs and triumphant moments and sad moments, and hard moments and painful ones, but I'm still smiling. So that tells you something. And I think of this whole thing this year is really a big mental game. It's staying positive, and even on the moments where you don't feel positive, it's you just got to dig deep and find what waking up every day is all about, and it's very grateful and a blessing to have. So
I love your attitude, Candice, and your
thanks.
positivity. It does really shine through. I feel it. Eric feels it. Everybody listening feels it. And I just hope that inside you really do feel it, because you have the whole pod fam and listeners behind you. Anything we can do for you, we love you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I truly do believe it in my heart. I don't think that I could have gotten through these past 5 months without it. I go to Tokyo. I'm on this hiatus of running a marathon across the world, and the whole thing of this trip was awesome. I don't have a dull moment. It was just an amazing country to visit. The race was awesome. And I can't remember if it's like the day before the marathon or after, when I felt the lump in my breast. Like I remember picking my girls up, putting them in my bra. My friend Liz and I are in the hotel room together, and I felt something really painful. And I was like, wow, that's weird. And then I looked at her and I was like, I could feel it. I was like, wow, that's really big. So, but my year was crazy. My daughter had an OCD lesion in her knee. She was diagnosed with that in the end of December last year. So right around Christmas, she was on full-time crutches and having surgery in January. I'm getting ready I have a 12-week training plan to run Tokyo and travel to Japan. So I was not doing self-breast exams every day. I wasn't doing it. My focus was on my family and training. It wasn't on me necessarily. So I felt that. And then when I came home, I had my husband kind of put his hands around my breast on both sides. And I said, can you check me? Do you feel something?
This is after Tokyo.
What was that?
This is after Tokyo.
Yep. I flew home and I did that the day after I got back. And because Scott is a realist, right? He's very calm and mellow, and I'm the eccentric crazy one sometimes. So we're a good yin and yang. And I knew if he felt something there, he would be like, oh, you're making a big a big thing out of this. And I'm like, okay. But he felt it and his eyebrows flew up. And he went, I would probably go get this looked at. So that's where the snowball started to happen. And, within 3 weeks, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer stage 2. It
That
was
all happened so fast.
so fast. It was like I go in, see my OBGYN. She calls a mammogram for me. I go in for the mammogram. I go in, get that done. I go sit in the waiting room. They call me back in for another set of scans for another mammogram. I go back in the waiting room. Now I'm being brought down for an ultrasound, going for the ultrasound, sit up, the tech comes up and says, just give me 5 minutes. And then a whole team of people walk in.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this
What's
is
going
aggressive.
through your head?
This is aggressive. Like I went alone that day thinking nothing.
Yeah.
My OBGYN, I had just had a mammogram 5 months before. So when my
Oh.
OBGYN called in the mammogram for me, she's tapping me on the shoulder and goes, I don't think it's breast cancer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Optimistic.
Yeah, because the majority of tumors are benign. It's not common that they're always breast cancer. So it was, she was very true to say that, because that is what you say to someone until you don't want to get your patient nervous.
Yeah, the
And
panic would set in.
of course, so I go in, they come in and they tell me I have a large solid nodule. So at that point, I'm like, break this down. Like, what do you mean? What are you saying to me?
Yeah.
And so I said, what's considered large? What's large? What's solid versus not solid? And they broke them all down. And that was a Tuesday. And they told me to come in Friday for the biopsy. So that literally happened within a week and a half after I flew home. So I'm on this hiatus of running the race, coming home from Japan, telling my family and friends about how great it was, and then getting smacked in the face with the reality that something really big could be going on here. And,
All right, well, let's slow down for a second.
Sure.
February 6th, you wake up 4 a.m., you have this amazing episode drop, your first ever podcast. Everyone loves you. Everyone's like, oh my God, Candice is amazing. It was March 3rd was the Tokyo Marathon. So now everyone's following your journey. You meet Jared in Tokyo, and all this stuff happens so fast. But I actually want to know, before we get into these deep details, as you know the rule, spare no details.
Yep.
I want to hear about the Tokyo Marathon. How did
tell
that
us something
go?
good, Candice.
Yes.
Sure. Let's talk about all the fun stuff.
Let's start with the flight, and who was on your flight?
Sure. So I flew into the Delta hub from here to there, and I saw that Jared and I had connected because I had listened to his podcast episode. He listened to mine, and we were talking, and I was like, dude, this is like, your story's unreal. I thought it was such a great down-to-earth story. It was so believable in every aspect. You really felt the emotion as he told it. So we connected and talked a couple times, and then we found out we were both running Tokyo. So when he posted that he was in the airport, I'm like, hey, are you in blah, blah, blah? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's where I'm coming to. So like, we were on the same flight. It was the craziest thing. So I get into the airport and I'm kind of looking around. I don't see him anywhere. Go into the ladies' room. I come out and he's standing right there.
You wouldn't find him in the ladies' room, by the way. No way would he be in
the ladies' room. Yes, he was definitely not in the ladies' room.
He's a gentleman. He wouldn't do it.
Absolutely. So he's standing there. And I got to say, he looks taller in person than he did online. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, hey. And we just talked until we got on the plane. And he was explaining to me how he had like a compression sleeve for flying because of his leg and needing some comfort. And so he was only like 2 rows ahead of me, 3 rows ahead of me on the plane. And I would go check on him because I knew that he was probably in some discomfort. It's a long flight.
Yeah.
So after that, we kind of lost each other in the airport, but then Liz and I connected with him throughout the week and had brunch with him one morning. And then we walked around Tokyo together, and it was really cool. We took a picture together at, what is the crossing called?
Shibuya Crossing. Yes.
So I wore my On the Run shirt there. That's where we took those photos and sent them to you guys because we had to bring the pod to Tokyo. I mean,
you guys are wonderful.
It was like, I packed that shirt knowing that at some point I was wearing it and you guys were there with us no matter what. So it was really cool to meet him and hang out with him and get to know him better,
Excellent. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys were able to connect.
Yeah.
I think that's just wild that you guys happen to be on the same flight, though. What are the odds of that actually happening?
Yeah, it was super
That
cool.
happened more than once on that trip, actually. Do you remember who was on Rachel's flight?
That was Bex. Yeah, Bex was on Rachel's flight.
So we had
Well,
we had 4 pod fan members on the same flights. So you and Jared and Rachel and Bex were all on the same flights to Tokyo.
I love it. That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah, we meet up all throughout the world, guys. That's what we do.
It's wonderful. I'm
It's
glad
not
that the podcast has reach, especially all the way across the world.
For sure.
And then this year, 3 pod fan members are all going to be doing the 777.
That's
7
Wow.
marathons,
wild.
7 days, 7 continents.
And who's doing this?
That's Bex Gentry, Ashley Paulson, and Justin Spencer from Recycled Percussion.
That is sick. I love
Yes.
it. And so our friend Jen Smith that you guys have met. All right.
Oh,
So
I love
Jen
Jen.
and I,
She's
we're
great.
brewing this. We're brewing this whole 777 in the next couple of years. Her and I keep talking about how that might be our biggest accomplishment and goal.
Ooh.
So we'll see how things transpire, but we keep talking about it.
If you need anybody else, let me know because I
Sherpa
totally would
crew.
do that.
Yeah.
I
You know,
I would run and Sherpa, so
but she wouldn't get you. Well, maybe she would. Maybe by then she'll be like
I'd have to
really
pay
good
my
at
own way. Are you
content.
kidding? Oh, wow. I would not be the content queen.
It's $45,000 to do that
Isn't
trip.
it ridiculous? Yeah.
It's
At
like,
a minimum.
at a minimum, but you get your own plane, everything is all taken care of. So I feel like,
It would be the
that
experience of a lifetime.
that's exactly. That's why it's like, you're really paying for that. I think that's,
yeah.
Does that include your crew?
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Okay.
You
Okay,
get to bring
Candice.
food?
Sure it does.
So if you and Jen do it, we just want each of
Hmm.
you to take one of us as your crew.
Okay, we'll have to look into this.
She's like, no, I'm not taking you.
This is like braiding we're going to have to look into this. This is interesting. Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like Jared's got an in before we do. And then I don't know who Jen would bring, but
Jared's doing that now. So why not just do it on every continent?
Yeah. Jared should be running the race, not being crew.
He literally
True.
just hit his 17th state like this past weekend.
oh,
He's
Of the
man.
rolling
year.
through them.
Unstoppable, this guy.
It's unbelievable.
Unstoppable.
But yeah, so talking about the race. So Tokyo was everything and anything I would have thought it was. You never leave the city, which I know you ran it the year before I did, Erica, and you literally just run down. Now the back and forth, I have to admit, the back outs.
They were a little arduous, but still cool to keep seeing everybody.
It was very cool. Actually, there's one area. So this is a funny part. So I get to mile 9 to 10 where you turn and you're kind of going down here, and I hear the crowd screaming their head off. And I'm like, oh, look at all these people yelling for us. And I didn't realize that Iliad was right on the side of me running in the opposite direction.
No.
So I look over and it's like, he just flies by. And I was like, oh, they weren't cheering for me. I was like, oh, bummer. So all of us were like, yeah. And then we look over and here he comes with all the elites. So he was like maybe 10 feet from me. It was so cool to actually see. You watch him online, you see how fast he is, but not until you're right on the side of him. And you actually see him go right by you. It was such a cool moment. But yeah, the race was amazing. I actually fell at mile 18.
Oh no.
There was a moment where there was no proper running etiquette. This guy just decides in the middle of the race to get down on the ground and tie his shoelace.
Sounds like a Disney race.
It was like,
Just from what I'm told.
though.
Not my own experience.
yeah. So I'm city looking. I'm looking around. I'm enjoying the
enjoying
city
the
because you're supposed to be. And then I look in front of me, and this ass hat is on the ground in front of me, about 4 feet ahead, and I'm full out running. So I go and I had to jump over him, and my knee smacked him in the back of his head, and my left
Deservingly so.
my left foot went this way, and I was I lost my toenail, my big toenail. Like I lost it. It's only just really starting to grow back now since March, like probably because of chemo. Everything slows down, nothing heals right. But yeah, and after that, I kept feeling my hip pop. I kept feeling my hip go over and over. And I was on course to have a PR. I was actually crushing it at that point where I was so solidly happy with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to be conservative and slow down. And I didn't get my PR, but I got my medal and I got the experience, and that was worth it. But if it wasn't for that guy, Lord knows what I would have done that day. But I'm
Right.
very happy to walk away with what I went there to do, and that was to finish. So
All I can say is you are so, like, you were just such a nice person to only call him an asshat. I would have been like, beep, 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 like,
I mean, honestly,
Would
I
you
was
though?
pissed. I was so pissed.
probably.
Would you really?
I
like,
could think of some choice words
To his
for that guy.
face?
Not to his face, but like, if I'm just talking to you, I would have unleashed.
Yeah, I was so mad. Like, I remember like jumping, and then once I realized I had caught myself and I didn't actually end up on the ground like I thought I would, I
Mhm.
turned around and I was like, what the, like, pull over, dude. Like, who does that? Who just gets down in the middle of the race when you have thousands of people running by you? Like, that will never make sense to me. And
An asshat.
yeah, and then I want to
Total
turn
ass.
around and be like, you just cost me all these weeks of training, dude. Like, what the frick? So, but yeah, I did slow up. I did take it easy the rest of the way because I was afraid I was going to do long-term damage. I knew I had Boston like 4 or 5 weeks later, and then Berlin at the mid-year. So I was like, I really can't jeopardize. So I slowed down and took it easy and enjoyed it. And yeah.
Well, at least
Little
got
did
to
you
do
know
that
you
and
actually had
look at the
cancer.
star.
I did not know I had cancer. It's funny because like at mile 23, I felt an utter, like a very large gust of exhaustion like I had never felt before. So I put it towards the fact that I wasn't sleeping good. I was on a time change.
Yeah.
I was nervous for the marathon. You never sleep that great the night before. But I have a feeling that that was my body's way of telling me that you are a little compromised because I did not ever feel that feeling until I felt that moment. It was I felt very drawn. I felt very leadish in my feet. I normally don't feel that way at 23. I just feel sore and tired. This felt different. So that might have been my body kind of telling me, you know what, girl, I think you've hit your max. And I just cruised in. I saw my charity, which was cool. They oh my God, they were amazing. So yeah, it was an amazing race. So much fun.
Which charity did you run for again?
So I did the Golden Network. It was a children's cancer fundraising charity. The majority of the ones I have ran for were involved with cancer. So I'm very happy that I did that for those kids. So yeah.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
So now we can fly back home. Your husband can check yourself. The doctor checks you. She says, I don't think it's breast cancer. It's probably benign.
Yep.
Now talk me through leaving Tokyo to the Boston Marathon.
Okay. So I found out after the biopsy was on a Friday. Of course, that's great to do something like that on a Friday because now you got to wait all weekend. So I just filled the weekend with family, friends, kept myself busy. Monday comes around, nothing. Tuesday, I'm at work, and I get my results before my doctor calls. It loads right into your My Chart.
Oh, okay.
So
did you look at them and what?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I did look at it, and it said, that I had a 3.3 centimeter. And this is what's crazy. And we can explain how much this grows. So I had the biopsy on that Friday. So it was the 23rd, 22nd. So that was the biopsy date. Goes to the lab. We get the results back on that Tuesday of the 26th. And it says invasive ductal carcinoma. So now I know it's invasive. It's moved from the origin where it started. But it's a very common one. It's the one that starts in the milk duct, and that I already kind of did some research. So now I know I have cancer. So I looked at my phone. I was in my office alone. I did cry for a few minutes because I was like, my life is so different. It's never going to be the same. And then I called my husband and I told him, and he was like, it's okay. He's like, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be okay. So I said, okay. And then my doctor's office called later that day. And then that whole saying of hurry up and wait started. Because you can ask any woman, any man that's been through this, the hurry up and wait is a real thing. You just want to know what's going on. so that you can get it all done and moving, but you've got to wait for everything to get done. And that is the most frustrating thing but once things start to roll, it rolls real fast.
Okay.
So I got the diagnosis. I met with my surgeon. She told me what my stage was. I was stage 2A, and they it was 3.3 centimeters, but by the time I had an MRI the week later, it was already 4.4 centimeters. So it had already grown 1 centimeter within a week.
Oh no.
And
that's very fast.
It's probably why that mammogram I had 5-6 months earlier showed nothing. And then it had grown to the size that it did in such a short amount of time.
Wow.
So then I go in, I find out what my treatment plan is, met my oncologist, and they tell me that you're going to go through 12 rounds of chemo with immunotherapy, because triple negative breast cancer is a very aggressive type, and you don't have any positive hormone receptors. Okay. So typically some women have them and don't, and that's how they know how to treat the tumor. What's feeding the tumor is how they're able to navigate how to treat you. So, they went through all of that with me, and then they told me I'd be going in for port surgery, and we didn't know the date of that. So we come up to the week of Boston. I know I'm running Boston Monday. I am planning my weekend with Jen and Jared and friends. Yep. And then Thursday, I get the phone call that my port surgery is on Marathon Monday. And I said, can I change it? Is there any way that we
Please
can
give me Tuesday, anything. I don't care.
Right. And then in my mind, I'm like, so if I do the marathon on Monday and then I do the port surgery the day or two after, my body's going to be compromised from the marathon. You know, our numbers are kind of off the charts and probably not the smartest thing to do. So I went into the Boston weekend knowing that I wasn't running it, and I was swapping out one marathon for the other.
Because you did ask, but they told you no.
Yeah. I had to get it done.
So that's so tough. But I mean, your health is paramount. A marathon is, you can
always
do it
going to be there
at some point. And you got to take care of yourself. So as much as it hurts to have to give up, especially a marathon like Boston, it was absolutely for the best to get you going on your treatment plan.
Talk about the Boston weekend, the whole expo, because you did all the things. You ran like the 5K. You talked to a ton of people. And I think you just told people. And I think you were just telling people like, yes, I'm running, because you were tired of telling them why you weren't running the race. And then tell us about the one person you did run into. And Jared says, it's okay. You can tell her.
Sure. So I ran into a lot of people at the expo, and we saw Allie on the run. We went and sat and watched her on stage, which I really felt like I needed to see her. I had to hear her, because this was so new for me and I was scared to death. And she was already going through it, and so strong and positive and so raw and honest about everything she was going through, that I felt like I needed to feel and see her energy. So like we went and saw her on the big stage and met a bunch of different people there, met Mary McManus. That was awesome. Got to meet her and Jared and stuff. And we were walking around. And so I'm walking down the road and I run into Marty Clark. I don't know if you guys know Marty Clark, but Marty Clark and I have been following each other for about 5 years, since I started to ever really get into running. And him and I just virtually would throw each other good comments on posts. And that's really all it's ever been. Well, I'm walking down Boylston, and Marty Clark is standing in front of me. And I go, Marty Clark. And he goes, Candice. He's like, what? Now, Letty is inside the Bank of America bank where the big yellow unicorn head was, and Marty knew her. So I'm walking up to Marty, and he's giving me hugs. We're taking pictures, and I go inside to take a picture with the unicorn, and there's Letty standing there. And I recognized her right away. And Jared and I, we all started talking to her, and she was like asking me a couple of things about the race. And she's like, are you running on Monday? And I was like, I felt like we're in such a close-knit space that I was like, I probably should just like tell her I'm not. So she was the only person I really told that I was not running Boston. And she was like, ooh, we might have a podcast episode in the near future. We should definitely talk. And then we connected that weekend, and she's amazing. I absolutely love her. She's
and for those of you who don't recall, Letty Lundquist has the Running Marathon podcast. and she was episode 95 on our podcast just after you. So you,
Yes.
Letty, and Jared were all within like 7 podcast episodes of each other. You're all 3 of you are in the Bank of America together with the Golden Unicorn taking photos, and it was so cool seeing the pod fam together.
I love that. I love that because I feel like every time I go to something that's pertained to a local big race that I'm going to find one pod family member anywhere we go.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, it's very uplifting because all of us really look forward to running into each other and catching up because we have this one podcast episode and then we wonder how each other's really doing behind the scenes of your running post. So like, it's nice to run into each other and do the catching up. And so, but yeah, it was nice to see Letty. But yeah, the majority of the weekend, I was kind of tired of telling people that I'm not running because they would go, well, why aren't you running? And then I have to tell everybody what's going on. And to be quite frank, I was very emotional, not running on Monday and having surgery. And then I knew chemo was coming right after. So like, I was kind of over it. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to enjoy the weekend, enjoy my friends.
Oh, I don't blame you at all, Candice.
Yeah, I just was over it. I was like, I just don't want. And also, you don't want to be a Debbie Downer when everybody's on the high of Boston.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about that? Nobody does.
Aw.
Who wants to talk about breast cancer? We're here for the marathon. Like, stop ruining everything for us.
How dare I? So selfish. So, I was like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. But yeah, it was, I did run the New Balance 5K that Friday night that we got there. That was super fun. There was a big meet and greet after. So yeah, we had a really great weekend. We went on a couple of tours, met a couple of authors. Like it was really fun.
Yep. You didn't tell a lot of people about you having breast cancer, at least at this time, but you did tell your charity. And what did your charity tell you?
So I was running for the Korean church that is at the Start in Hopkinton. I was the solo runner for that church, which was really an honor. This lady who does work for the town of Hopkinton has a certain amount of bibs every year that she can disperse. The church asked for a runner to make money, to raise some money for their school there. They have a youth program that they need funds. They have no money for the kids for school. And so I got to run for them. And when he actually called me when I was at dinner with Jen and Jared and a couple of other friends. The pastor at the church called me and said that he had heard from Dottie, the woman from Hopkinton, that I was just recently diagnosed. And I told him, I said, I'll be coming up to see you this week because I had fundraised money for them and I wanted to bring it to them. And he was like, that is not the reason for my call. My call was to let you know that we are going to be praying for you on Sunday morning. Is it okay if I bring up your name? He was like, I would like you to keep that for you and your family for whatever you need. I actually still have all that money sitting in my savings. I did not spend a penny of it and I have no plan to. I plan to give it back to him and hopefully run for them or a breast cancer organization next year for Boston. And then I'm going to surprise them with a gift of, that. So it's in my savings. I haven't touched it.
That is so sweet for both of you that he would, that you're still raising money, that he offered to give it back to you. Like that just warms my heart to
he
some
was
degree.
amazing.
I don't even.
His name is David. He's a really great guy.
Oh, David. Wonderful.
Yeah. So that was really cool that he had reached out like that. And I didn't know it was him and never talked to him before. So that was our first conversation.
That's amazing.
Like I'm like on the verge of tears myself, you guys. Come on.
I know. I can't guarantee that I'm not going to do that by the end because I'm like in this.
You're allowed to.
I seriously, through the first 12 weeks of treatment, I literally was like a warrior, fight hard. Let's do it. And then as soon as it was over and we're getting ready for surgery, I'm literally like, I cannot control the emotion. It's like, what did I just do for 4 months?
I mean, you have to talk yourself into it. You got to believe you're like, yes, I can do this. But like, you let your guard down a little bit and you have to let some of that emotion out. So if you want to cry, Candice, you cry. I won't hold it against you.
So take me to Marathon Monday now. You were hoping to run. You don't get to run. You go to the doctors. You get the port. Did you pay attention to the marathon? Did you turn the TV on? Were you tracking your friends or did you stay away from it?
I could not stay away from it. There's no way. So Sunday morning, I woke up knowing that my body was going to be different as of the next day. I have never had surgery, never broke a bone. I've never had, I had a very mild surgery a couple of years ago, but never, nothing like this. And so Sunday was a very emotional day because I knew I wasn't lining up on Monday. I knew that I was not, things were different. So Marathon Monday, I woke up. I had my tracker already set up that weekend with all of my running friends so I could track them. Jen Smith and I were running it together. It was her first Boston. So we had matching hot pink shirts because I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So we had matchy outfits from head to toe. Yep. And very last minute when she found out that I was no longer running Boston, she made me a fighter shirt. So my running hot pink tank top said fighter on the front. My favorite number is 25 and my name was on the back. And she brought that to me that weekend and she goes, this is your shirt for race day. So I wore that to the hospital, went and had my port surgery. I have a group of girlfriends that I run with in East Greenwich that a couple of them reached out to me and said, hey, we're going up to the marathon. Don't know if you're up to it, but we'll come get you and you can come up. So that's exactly what I did. I got out of surgery, went home and rested for 2 or 3 hours, and then jumped on a train and went to Boston and watched my friends finish. So I went to Marathon Monday.
You made it.
I made it.
I am honestly very impressed that you had that energy. Like good for you.
Yeah. When the numbness wore off, I got to admit I was extremely sore and there was some pain there and some throbbing, but nothing that a doctor would have said I couldn't go do. So I went and had dinner and watched my friends finish. And it was a perfect way to end a day that I didn't plan. I was very happy that I could be there.
Yeah, you were still involved in the whole Boston festivities. You got them before. Yeah. Unfortunately, not the actual, but that's so awesome that you were there for your friends and that you
I saw them. I saw Maurice come down. Maurice was on the other side. And when you're at the finish line, I'm literally like right before the grandstand. We were right along the road there. And I'm like screaming, Maurice. And he's on the other side. He cannot hear me. He is just like, so I was like, there's Maurice. And then I saw Jay. Duncan and I saw Jen finish. Like I saw so many people finish and it was amazing. I was just like, okay, this makes me, this just fulfilled me for not running it. This is amazing. So it was great. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It's amazing. Yeah. What a day. What like a couple of months of waves, On the Runs podcast, Tokyo Marathon, then cancer, and then you're going to run Boston, and then no, you can't, and then you make it to the finish line. And
I love how you snuck On the Runs podcast in there.
Of course, that was the big thing. That was number one.
Subtle.
I know, because like right now, this whole episode that we were hoping to do in the fall was going to be talking about coming off of Berlin.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about, yes, you're right. We're going to do like a recap or a recrap about your 6-star medal.
Yeah. And like, here we are recapping about how I fought for life. It's like, who knew? Who knew? You just
definitely
don't know.
Deserve a medal for that. For
real.
real.
I think I've received more than a medal so far. I mean, I've the amount of people, the support that you guys I can't even get into how many amazing things were just randomly sent to my home. Dinners being ordered and sent to my house and factor meals being delivered and people calling me and saying, order dinner at the restaurant tonight. We're going to pay for it. Like because Scott was literally taking care of me all the time. It was like that term falling back in love with your spouse happened because I could have not done this without him. He has literally done so much for me. And with surgery, we'll jump to the whole thing on surgery, but literally I was unable to do anything for myself coming out of a double mastectomy. And like, he's literally done it all. Yeah. It's
Shout out Scott, you hero.
I think we got to shout out your dad too, because here's the thing. There's like only 2 people who from our pod fam who have my actual phone number. You're one of them. Pterodactyl doesn't even have my phone number, believe it or not. So
I have your phone number. Do I count?
No, you're my co-host.
I never use it though.
Yeah, no, you never use it. So, but the one of 2 people who do is you, Candice, and you call me, you text me, you know when I'm traveling, and you call like, oh, I know Eric's driving for 3 hours. You call and you fill me in with everything. So you told me stories about your dad and how your dad's doing a few things for you. I think cold capping was one. And then you also told me how, like, you mentioned you're fighting for your life, but you got really ill shortly after Boston in May, didn't you?
So I got sick because I was highly allergic to my chemo drugs. So the chemo, I'm highly allergic to taxine. So my whole regimen was Taxol, Carbo, which are like abbreviated names, and Keytruda, which is an immunotherapy. So Taxol is a taxine metal-based drug. And I went into chemo the very first day, and they gave me a little bit of pre-med, which is like a steroid Benadryl, because they don't know how you're going to react. And they gave me the first bag of chemo drugs, and within 10 cc's, I went into anaphylactic shock. My lungs crushed. I was like, can't breathe. Like, I was like, Scott's like, push the button. And the nurses, I mean, they are unbelievable how fast they work on you. They all ran in and they're like, we're going to give you a high dose of this. One's looking, my blood pressure went from like 124 to 179 within like 5 seconds. It was like,
oh my God, Candice.
It was bad.
Not to compare, by the way, but that is what happens to me when I have dairy. Yes.
It's a terrible allergic reaction. Yes. I'm sorry I laughed.
A lot of people think I'm lactose intolerant. No, I'm definitely allergic. And what you are describing is exactly what happens to me.
It's the casein. Yeah.
It's,
holy shit,
so it's terrifying for anyone to feel like you can't breathe. So that happened day one. They stopped the drip. They gave me some pre-meds. They waited 30 minutes. My oncologist, they called him and he said, try her on a slower drip. Let's see if we can get it in there. The reason being is that is the cheapest version of that drug. The next one is a very expensive bougie drug called Abraxane. So after the second time they tried to give it to me and I went into anaphylactic shock times two, they now pulled me off of everything. And then the next week I went back, they started the Abraxane. And I was on that drug for 4 weeks until I had another allergic reaction. And then after that, they had to pre-med me every time I went in. I was very drugged up at the beginning of every single chemo treatment. So I never got to drive myself. I was there for 4.5, 5 hours every day that I went. Yeah. But, the whole goal was to get rid of it. So that's what I was doing. And every person that brought me, I surprised them with an activity. Nobody knew what was coming. And anybody that brought me, I had an arts and a craft, or we did something fun. So once I came out of my comatose state, I had something fun for us to do for like 2 hours while we were there. So
Candice,
I had so much fun with all my friends and family bringing me, because they all didn't know what was coming. I bought everybody a matching bracelet through Pure Vita, gave that to them on that day to say thank you for taking the time out to bring me.
So, question for you. You said you had 12 weeks of the chemo and your immunotherapy. How many days a week were you doing chemo? So, was it like 5 days a week you had to go in for it for 12 full weeks? Or did you do like every couple of days? I'm just trying to wrap my head around like how many times was your body like put into this terrible situation of like trying to adapt to all the drugs and oh my gosh.
Sure. So I went in for blood work on Mondays to make sure my levels were high enough to get chemo on Tuesday. So I would only get chemo on Tuesday. And then my immunotherapy was every 3 weeks. They would just give it to me on a chemo day. Because they can't give you immunotherapy every day, every time you go. So I've had 4 fusions of immunotherapy and I've had 12 rounds of chemo. And we finished that on July 16th. That was my last fusion day. So
all right. Cause oh my gosh, I feel for you just, and your body like adapted to it too. And it just caused that allergic reaction with the second drug. Oh, Candice. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I was allergic to it the whole time. They just had to pre-med me to not give me any symptoms. So like Eric can understand, if you give somebody a very high dose of Benadryl and then feed him some dairy, he's probably not going to have a reaction like he would if he didn't have something or a steroid in his system to counteract it.
I understand.
I've never thought of that, but I'm not going to test it.
No,
don't do it.
You have your non-dairy cheese now. You're good. You don't need to worry about
cheese. I heard nut cheese is supposed to be great.
I've never heard of nut cheese. Is that
we're calling it nut cheese now.
It's made out of
cat.
cashews. It's a nut cheese.
But now we're gonna call it nut cheese because it just sounds so funny. So
I love
that's
it.
all Eric
It's
can have is
perfect.
nut cheese.
Yeah, this is my brown story, nut cheese. There you go, guys. Like,
Okay.
That's perfect.
So a lot of things have happened, but one really cool thing that happened was part of our pod fam. It's amazing. We know Erin, who we just had on for this month, and she's from the Will Run For podcast, right? And she has breast cancer. Well, we've been friends with her for a long time, her whole Will Run For family. And every year they put on a virtual 5K. And when I found out they were going to raise money this time for breast cancer, I was like, I need to tell you. I don't remember if I connected you to their podcast before then, but I know I connected you for that race, and you signed up for the virtual 5K. And I remember watching you there. You had a whole crew in Rhode Island running the virtual 5K on the live Zoom that Will Run For did, and you were part of it. And then you built a connection with Erin.
Yes, I did. She's amazing. That was a lot of fun. I reached out to my friends and family, told them that we were going to get together. Jen Smith did register for it. Her and I both got the wooden medals, that was just super cool. And they sent us a little care package, and
like a sticker
that was fun. We did it on my local bike path here, and there it is.
So
I love it.
Live.
I love it. We ended up having that morning together. We all virtually did the race together. Some walked and some ran. It was really nice to kind of give back. That was the first charity that I was able to do something for. We were fundraising for Unite for Her. And all of that money and proceed went to that organization. So and Erin and I have talked pretty consistently since then. We message each other. We keep each other solid. I check in with her, see how she's doing. She does the same for me. It's nice to know that other people close by understand where I'm at and what I'm going through. And it's not just emotional and sad and hard. I mean, there are some really great moments where you kind of laugh at it. It's like, oh, I got my boobs cut off because they're killing me. Like, you try to make jokes out of the situation because you only got this one life. I mean, you can choose to be in one place or the other. So her and I kind of bounce some things off of each other.
That's amazing.
Good for you guys. Yeah.
During this time, are you able to run? Are you allowed to run? Are you just going on walks? What are you doing activity-wise?
I ran through the whole time I was in chemo, and my doctors were like, it definitely was at the capacity before. It was less. I think I didn't do anything over 5 miles at a time. Some were 3 miles, some were 4. I've listened to my body. When I felt yucky, I stopped and I walked home, or I ran home and felt great. But my doctors were like, you're still running. Like, they were really blown away by that. And I just told them, I said, I have to keep my heart healthy if I want to make it through all this treatment. Like, if I'm laying down, gaining weight, not taking care of my body, staying healthy, I mean, how am I going to fight these drugs? Like, that was how my mind was wired through this. So yes, I did run through the whole time. I can't run now, but I was running during that time. So that definitely helped me mentally get through the harder days, for sure. It made me look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's such a passion of yours. If you get to continue doing what you love through something that is just, it's not fun. Let's just put it that way. It's a bag of stuck.
Yeah.
So if you can keep doing something that you love, and it is keeping you healthy, it's going to help you in the long run. So I'm glad you were able to do that.
And I believe truthfully that if I hadn't built a foundation of health and been active and had such a strong heart, because they do an EKG on you before you start immunotherapy. They got to see what they're starting with. So when I went for that, and by the way, guys, this is awesome to hear as runners. So the lady is giving me the echocardiogram, and she's watching my heart and all this stuff. And she puts her hand on my leg at one point and goes, I almost called a tech in here. I've never seen anyone your age. Usually when you hit 40, your valves don't stick as well. She said that my valves were sticking like a 5-year-old, that my heart was in the best health. And then she turned around and goes, I've never seen such a symmetric heart rate ever. She said it was so perfectly rhythmic that I was like, I'm a runner. I don't know what to tell you. So now
it's got rhythm.
I'm telling all my friends, I'm like, guys, keep running. We're going to have the best heart ever. Heard that right from the best. So right from the professional. But yeah, so that was a big thing for me, was making sure that I kept moving. And I think that being where I was, God totally put me in this place for a reason. I don't think that I was put here to have a bad thing happen to me. I think there was something positive that must have come out of this, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I kind of debunked the medical system of treatment.
Nice.
So that's something to be really cool and proud about.
Well,
Awesome.
before we get back into your journey of the summer until present time, I still want to pump the tires for our pod fam. So February 6th was your first ever podcast with On
Yep.
the Runs.
Yes.
Since then, you've become quite the podcast, expert. You're a veteran. You've been on quite a few. And
So
in
funny.
the summertime, shortly after that virtual 5K, Letty Lundquist had you on her podcast. How was that?
It was awesome. And the content was so different from ours, which I like. I think that when you do a podcast, there's a point of what you're doing it for. It's, you want to get the message out there. You want to provide support and knowledge to people that are listening to it. And I want to support my running friends that have a podcast. Why not? Why not get it out there? But yeah, Letty is great. She actually had a really good amount of questions pre-op to us even getting on the conversation. And
Yeah.
she knew exactly what she wanted to go over. It was very regimented, and it was a context just towards my beginning results of being a woman and getting a breast cancer diagnosis. So it felt really good for me to actually talk about it with someone
Yeah.
other than my family. And I think it really did give me a sign of hope too. And I felt more support from that, which mentally keeps you sharp,
Mm-hmm. I listened to it. I thought it was a wonderful episode. You were a natural at this.
I don't know.
And of course,
I know.
we love Letty
Learn from
too.
the best.
Letty has a wonderful
Pat
podcast,
myself
but
on the back there.
I particularly liked your episode.
Thank you. Well, I love all your episodes. So this is just,
I wasn't
this is-
fishing for compliments, but
I
thank
know
you.
you were. But yeah, Letty's, she's really, really great. And she's been a big support for me. She checks in on me every week. I check in on her.
Yes.
wonderful.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Oh God, we talk all the time. We text each other. We're on each other's phones. We text each other.
I owe her a phone call because she wants to work together and we haven't made it happen yet. I go, after the summer, I owe her a message. I'm sorry, Letty, but we will be working together.
Yeah, she's great.
All
She's
Eric's
really
fault.
great.
It is my fault. Yes. I'm not doing my homework assignments. I'm sorry, Erica.
We're not here to talk about my homework assignments, so let's move on.
Erica, why don't you bring us into the summer? And then you can start where you were going to go, Candice. But before I stopped
All right.
you rudely.
No, you're
last
good.
time.
So you said you finished treatment July 16th. Was that the date? So
Yeah.
where did you go from there? What was next?
So I had a couple of weeks off. So I got on a plane and went with my family down to Florida for 9 days.
Wonderful.
In the
My
summer?
parents- In the summer.
What?
Did you get to go to the coast? Were you swimming? Stay
Yeah,
cool at least?
Yeah, my parents have a nice home right on the water down in
nice.
Florida. So they were up here because they're up here most of the summer. So we went down there. My brother runs a business right in that same town. So we went down. We land right in the city where they live, right on the tramway. It's really cool. And their house is 7 minutes from the airport.
Oh,
So
fun.
we went there. We went and stayed in Tampa, Riverview area. I got to kayak with manatees and dolphins, and
What an
we went down.
experience.
We did all kinds of stuff. But yes, it was like the devil's armpit. It was so freaking hot down there that every day I was in the pool, in the water, in the AC. I was I could not live here year round. It was
Devil's
just so
armpit.
warm. But yeah, we went on vacation. I needed to mentally get away from the house, away from my bed, away from
Change
the
of
normal routine.
scenery.
Yeah, I needed to get away. So we went away for 9 days, and knowing and thinking I was coming home and jumping back into chemo. So that's,
A little break is what you need. A mental break, a physical break, some relaxing, some sunshine.
She just decided to take a
Getting
break
away.
in the devil's armpit.
I really did. Well,
Yeah.
that
I'm sure
was
it
down
was
there.
beautiful.
I will admit too, there was a morning I did the Panda Posse, Maurice's Panda Posse 5K. So I was
Awesome.
registered. I didn't know what week chemo was going to end, right? So
Mhm.
they have these weeks, they're called like a setback week, where if your immune system numbers are too low, you don't have chemo that week. And they push it
Oh,
out a week. They got to give your body a week to kind of get
bounce
some.
back.
Yeah. So I had a couple of setback weeks. So I ended on the 16th, and it happened to be when I would be in Florida was when the Panda Posse 5K was. So I messaged Maurice and I was like, hey, I'm going to do it when I'm in Florida. I asked him about the shirt because I was like, I'll wear my shirt down there. And he's like, I won't be able to get it to you till you get back. I'm like, okay. So I went down there that morning and did the Panda Posse 5K virtually, sent some messages to him. And so that was cool. I got to get that done too while I was down there.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
the support of the pod fam. It really does warm my heart. You guys are so sweet.
Well, we all know Maurice is like your number one biggest
Positivity
cheerleader,
always.
no matter what. And I was like, there was no way I was missing that. If I couldn't
Amen to
physically
that.
be here, I was out there doing it with them. So
I'm
Love
so
you,
glad
Mo.
you got to. We do.
so much love to you, Mo.
So you mentioned cold capping earlier. At what stage in your treatment was that happening? And tell us a little more about it. I honestly can't say I know too much about what it actually does.
Sure. So, a gentleman from England, he had his wife had been, the system I used was called Paxman, and a gentleman that is from England had a wife who was diagnosed with breast cancer, lost her hair. She went through a very hard time with that image changing. So he created this system, and there's a few different ones. One's called Penguin, Paxman, but I went with Paxman. So when I met my nurse navigator, before I started treatment, they told me that if I wanted to preserve my hair the best I could, or if I was going to lose all my hair, regardless using it, it makes the hair come back easier because chemo pretty much fries the hair cuticle from the inside, the hair follicle. It gets cooked, and that's how your hair comes out. So this system is created where you wash your hair the morning of chemo, you put conditioner in, you leave it wet. I would braid it, go in, spray bottle it again, and a gel cap goes over your head, and there's like an avatar tube that kind of comes out the back. It's kind of freaky, but it's cool. And it sticks into a machine when you're there. And the system is $2,400. Insurance does not cover it. I had applied for it, and I ended up getting a little bit of money off. And my dad, when I told him about it, I said, I don't know if I can justify this. I don't know how long I'm going to be working. And he was like, do not worry about it. Whatever you need, we're doing it. Just do it. So, and I'm glad I did, because I lost about 20%. Like my hair is just starting to grow back under here. I have a lot of baby hairs. And in between my head, I have a lot, I still shed right now, and what it basically does is it freezes your head. I take the cap off. I have a sheet of ice on my head it literally freezes your head below 30 degrees. And it gives you an instant migraine. It gives you some nausea for like the first 5 or 10 minutes, but then your head is so suppressed that you can't feel it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And how it works is they put it on your head 30 minutes before chemo starts, and they get that on your head in freezing. They start chemo, and then once chemo's over, that cap stays on for 90 minutes after.
Wow.
So it keeps the head suppressed and freezes everything. And then once I'm done that 90 minutes, they unplug me, and I have to slowly, because people have ripped that off and their hair just rips off because it's frozen.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
You've got to kind of get your fingers under it. And that's why you put the conditioner. It helps take it off.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it just like freezes the follicle to preserve it. Because if your body's just like burning it from the inside, you're combating it from the other side. Oh, wow.
Yep. And there are some women that it doesn't work. Some women lose like 50% of their hair. Some people lose all of their hair. But I was willing to take the chance because the majority of the women that used it kept like 50% or more of their hair. Okay. So I figured, well, and this wasn't about image. Okay. Let me just make this like clear. This isn't about me worrying about what I was going to look like. Yes, I love my hair. I get compliments on it all the time. Yes, I have pretty hair. But I did it because I have 3 kids.
I do too.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Shut up,
I have kids at home, and I really didn't want them to see the images when women walk around and you are, or men, and you're in cancer treatment. You have no eyebrows, you lose your lashes, you lose your hair. Everybody just automatically looks at you like, oh, that person is sick. So if everybody else sees it that way, it's going to be even harder on my kids to come
No,
home every day and
I
see
totally
mom like
understand.
that. So a lot of it was because of that as well. I was like, if I can somehow fake it till I make it any way
Yeah.
I can so that nobody really knows what I'm going through or how hard this is, it might make it easier. And I was able to keep a good amount of my hair. So I'm very thankful that it works. So
Okay. So you did this all throughout your 12 weeks of chemo.
yeah.
What happened after? What else did you have to do for treatment?
So I was supposed to go. So when I came back from vacation, I went for an ultrasound. And
Okay.
no, before I left for vacation, I went for an ultrasound because my oncologist couldn't feel my tumor for the last 2 checkups. So I would go
Okay.
every 3 weeks. And when I went the last 2 weeks prior to chemo ending, he's like, I can't feel your tumor. So let's check. So we went in for an ultrasound and they could not detect my tumor at all. It was gone.
Okay.
So when I got back from vacation, he said, let's go ahead and do the MRI. So we went and did an MRI. And again, they could not find it. They only found the little metal clips that they put on when they do your biopsy. Those were kind of floating in my breast tissue. There was like no
Interesting.
tumor there.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just kind of in there. So
But that's good news. That's good news. No
this is
tumor.
very good news because as far as imaging was concerned, I had reached PCR, which is a pathological complete response, telling them that I responded well to chemo.
Oh,
So
okay.
after the MRI, I met with my oncologist and he said, what are our options? Because the next step was I was supposed to go through the hardest of the chemo drugs, which was doxorubicin, called AC. It's every other week. It's called the Red Devil drug. It's like in a big syringe. It's bright red. It's very intimidating. And that one would have wiped my hair out. That one was that was the one that was going to seal the deal of everything. So I met with him and he said, so do we do the AC? It looks like cancer is gone. Do we not do it? So we opted to not do the AC treatment. It has a 1% chance to give you cardiomyopathy, 1% chance of leukemia. It can wipe out your thyroid.
Holy shit.
There's so many things that can come out of that they, we decided to go to surgery. So I waited a month. You have to wait a month after chemo to get your body healthy enough to recover from surgery.
Okay.
And we did go in and do a double mastectomy. And pathology was done at that time. So that was what we did on the 29th of August. So that was my next stage in the process, was that.
Gotcha. So how are you recovering right now? It's about a month past your surgery, and how are things going?
I'm doing really good. This week's been really, really good. That is by far been the hardest thing I've ever done. I had all 3 of my kids naturally back to back. I would have taken all 3 of them back to back over the pain I had over the first 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
It was unreal. But, not being able to wash yourself, wipe yourself, like I'm literally looking at Scott for everything. I couldn't put my clothes on. I couldn't move my arms. I was cut from one side to the other. They take your lymph nodes out. My armpits were numb. Like I couldn't feel or do anything. So I was at his mercy, and my mom would come and help, and she bathed me too. I was like, girl, like, let's do this. Like I got to get clean. But I also had 2 drains on each side. I had 2 drains coming out of my body on each side. So I had 4 drains that were draining out fluid that had to be emptied and measured every day.
Really? Oh my gosh. The maintenance for this. It's blowing my mind, the stuff that you guys have to go through.
It's crazy. And I'm exhausted because I still, after 4 weeks, I have not slept through the night because I have to sleep upright and on my back. I haven't been able to sleep on my side, and I'm a side sleeper.
Oh no.
But now my doctor this week said, if you're comfortable, you can start to sleep on your side, but no compression on your chest. And I'm like, okay. So, But yeah, but I'm doing great. I'm feeling really good now. Everything looks good. I have expanders in. They are expanding my skin because I just got my date today for my next surgery is December 5th. So that is the next big surgery, and that should be the last one. So.
Oh, Candice, you are so strong. I mean, I just can't even imagine going through this, and you still, I'm sure 2 weeks ago when you were not feeling so good, the smile may have faltered, but
yeah,
today you're looking beautiful and happy, and I hope it's shining through.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you said December 5th, next surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That was my next question. What's
Yeah.
next? Is there any running plans? Are there any vacation plans? What do you have planned next?
God, you gotta treat yourself.
I know, right? I do have some things coming up. So the Gloria Gemma 5K is this weekend. I can't run yet, but I am walking it with a bunch of friends. My family's all going. We all have fun shirts. So we're going to go and celebrate that on Sunday. I haven't decided if I'm going to do Pell Bridge yet. That is one race I do like to do, which is over Newport Bridge. But I am doing the Stowe 10 miler in Vermont in November. So I'm going up with 3 friends, and we get the same place every year when they stay. My friend gets the same place when she goes up every year. And the first year I did it with them, we all stayed at the Fox Den. So we're going to go and do that in Stowe. And then I'll have surgery again in December, and I'll be laid up for 4 to 6 weeks. But next year I do have the Revel set up. I've registered for May 5th, the Revel in the White Mountains.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's next year, and a few more.
They said it wasn't coming back. I called them out. It was. I knew it.
I'm glad.
I'm so excited.
I missed it last year, so maybe I'll get to go this year.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the half for that because I don't think.
I heard great things about the half, so that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't want to push my body too much, and I don't know if I'll have the mileage and the endurance under my belt after being so laid up. Plus, you have to remember, I start treatment again next Friday. So I still have to go for infusion and get immunotherapy every 3 weeks. So that is going to cause fatigue. That's going to cause some soreness. And, those things have to be considered. So I figured the half would be, even if I just did a lot of walk running for the next 6 months, that would be a doable thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the treatment that you have to continue, because does this have to go on for the foreseeable future just to keep your cancer in check, or you don't even, you're cancer free though, right? But it's just the recurrence that you're trying to keep at bay. Am I correct in saying that?
Sure. So the thought is that the cancer stayed in one spot, right? Like you want to believe that the tumor's not moving, no cells got all over the body. So when you have a tumor that's shrunk to nothing, my oncologists believe that there's no cells that got anywhere. But immunotherapy is given to a lot of cancer patients, especially triple negative. And yes, I did get a full pathology back clear of cancer from surgery. So I did find that out 3 weeks ago that I do not have cancer anymore. So that is amazing.
Great.
And there was no filtration. There was no filtration through the lymph nodes. So that tells them that my cancer stayed in one spot. It did not move anywhere past the lymph node. So immunotherapy, what that does is it makes your immune system sharp. Where if there are any cells that may have trickled anywhere, it recognizes those cells and destroys them.
Gotcha.
So that's what this is going to do. It's basically putting your immune system into like a supercharge to be like, okay, detect. So yeah, for 6 months, it's 27 weeks, 9 fusions every 3 weeks. So that's that's the, I feel like I've hit the top of that hill and now we're coming down, 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 down. That's That's where we're at.
I hope that's it. Let's get you on the other side.
I know.
During this entire time, have you been working?
I worked, yes, until about the 3rd week of May.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked until like the end of May. Started chemo in April, and then about 5 or 6 weeks in, I had to like walk away from work because I was pretty fatigued at that point.
How have they been about that? How's
Amazing.
the overall the entire community, your working community, your family community, your running community? How has everyone been throughout this entire process of this crazy year?
I know, right? My boss has been awesome. I've been working, like doing things remotely for him, filling in, going down when I felt good. But he's been awesome. He was just like, take the time that you need and you'll be back before you know it type of thing. My family's been amazing. They've all done everything that they could do to their capacity. Everybody has their own life, right? My sister has young kids. My brother's in Florida. My parents live here. I have so many friends that are family that they have literally stopped the life for a day or did something for me that I never have expectations. But friends that couldn't be here physically have literally sent me a text message just saying, I'm thinking of you. That's the stuff that like fuels my soul. Like I was in bed laying. Thursday, Fridays were my red days. I had chemo Tuesday. By Thursday, Friday, I was feeling pretty awful to the point where like I would close my eyes and my eyeballs would hurt. My eyelids would hurt.
my
Like I
gosh.
literally had nothing in me. And I'd be laying there watching some great rom-com or I'm like a rom-com / serial killer show. There's no middle. I'm like either about all romance or like who killed who. Like I have like very little room for like Deadpool stuff. Like I love superhero. So like, but I remember like laying in bed and like watching a show and then my phone would go off and I would get that, hey, I'm thinking of you. How are you? Can you go for a walk tomorrow? And like, I do not think at all that I would be where I am if it wasn't for the support of the people that I have in my life and the strangers that I don't know that reached out that were just like, I mean, the running community, guys, as we know, there's nothing like it. Like nobody is out to get anyone. Everybody's there to help and love and support. It's just, yes, thank you, Lord, for bringing running into my life because it literally has, it put me into a place where I was able to fight this fight, have the support I needed, and come out of this the way I am. I don't think I could have done it without it. So,
Candice. Oh, that is such a wonderful thing. I'm so happy you said that because it really is true that the running community just brings such great things into people's lives. And I'm glad that it could help you fight your cancer, just bring some light to your life and have a wonderful support system behind you.
Yeah, it's been unreal, really. Like even you guys, like it's just, you meet people and like I think of you guys every day. Like people think of me every day. And all it is like just being good people, just being there. It's like, it's such a blessing to like shine even in the hardest moments. And then people just gravitate to that. You gravitate to the people that you're drawn to. And I feel like even throughout this, there's been people that have taken a back seat because don't get me wrong, cancer diagnosis brings people closer, but it also pushes people away where what if Candice doesn't make it through this and I'm close to her? How bad is that going to hurt when she's no longer here? People really do take that back seat and say, I can't really do a lot.
Oh man.
You know, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to protect yourself and people will do what they can do. And that's been totally okay, you know, but people do take a back seat with it because it's scary. It's scary.
It is. It's more unknown. Like the unknown is scary. So
yeah.
I hope that I can be one of those people for you that will shy away from the unknown and just gravitate towards you because you really are a light. I don't know what else to say.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. It's just, yeah. This whole thing has just been nuts, but I'm very, very thankful to still be here. And I know the odds are not on my side with this type of diagnosis. I know that it has a very high chance of coming back within 6 months. We could be back here. So it's like, I'm going to live every day. I'm going to keep doing all the things. I'm going to go and enjoy life. That's it. That's all you can do. I can't sit here being afraid that it's going to come back or I'm going to lose out if it does, you know?
True. So true.
So
got to make a t-shirt that says that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And put Stoolie like on the back or on the corner. Like we got to get him in there.
He's a sneaky Stoolie. He goes right on the back, right behind the neck where the hood covers, but he's a sneaky Stoolie. I'm not going to turn around. I got cables.
He's got to be a small Stoolie.
No, he's perfect the way he is. Like Candice, you're amazing. Stoolie. We love you.
Wow. We do.
Well, I want to keep talking. Let's talk about a few more positive, amazing things you've done. Okay. So one, you're a podcast expert now. You've had quite the year. You've made many podcast experiences. What are some of the other podcasts you've been on where people can go and listen to you?
Sure. So of course, Letty, you know, the running marathon podcast, she's got really great diverse episodes, you know, and with On the Runs, I feel like you guys have such a great, how do I word this? So your podcast to me is constantly a motivational piece with so many different runners. And because no episode is the same, even though we're all doing the same thing in different dynamics, no one's story is the same. And it's over 100 episodes. So thank you for that. Like that every week keeps us excited. And then the one I was on this week was Cut Through the Noise. So his name is Dave Turand, and he does trainings for different corporations and commercial companies. So my husband's company, he goes there and trains a lot of the sales and the sales team there. I met him at a Christmas party and we started talking, and him and his wife started following it on Instagram. I started following them. Well, they didn't know I had cancer. They didn't know until the day that I posted the photo of my mastectomy. And his wife was like, "Did you know Candice had cancer?" And he's like, "Wait, what? And then he went on and he reached out and was like, "God, your story is so inspirational." And his podcast is geared towards a lot of business owners, CEOs, the business world. And he thought this would be a really cool pod episode to do. So if you want to get some knowledge on motivational podcasts, spiritual, he has a huge array of different people that have gone through, thinking of suicide, thinking about the dark and the positive to being a business owner. Like there's so many different things on his pod that I was like, wow, this is going to be a cool episode to launch October. So those are the ones I've been fueled into. And then I have one that I'm going to be hopefully recording, I think in the next week for a one in Rhode Island. It's the Roadie podcast. So I think that is the next one that I'm going to kind of talk and see if we're interested in doing an episode there. So
cool.
But yeah, if there's any way that I can get the message out there that you are not alone, ladies and gents that are going through this journey, in all cases and not all this is not a death sentence. This is not meaning that it's end of life. In all cases, there is hope and there is ways to live your life positive, even though you feel like everything is coming down on you. And that's what I'm hoping that we'll be able to reach people to maybe get motivated and think, well, I'm sick, but maybe I could get out there and do something. That is the point of this. So
that's it. That's the podcast. That's the perfect ending point. Unless what else? What you got? Anything else?
But we have more.
Okay,
He's
good.
so
I'm like I'm not chiming in. That was the best thing ever. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Should that be the end?
Well, I don't know. It's wonderful.
Well,
couldn't have said it
Candice,
any better.
Love it.
I've enjoyed this past year chatting with you all the time. Text messages, phone calls. It's been awesome getting to be a part of this. You've taken me along for the ride. I think you've taken me along more than Erica. Like Erica's kind of been living vicariously through me, filling you up to date, right?
I mean, I did get to see you at Anchordown where you were still volunteering for 24 frickin' hours in the midst of all of your treatments and
we had that epic
so
trail cleanup day.
Yep.
We did. That was a lot of fun.
Just out there doing it all.
That was a lot of fun.
I think if somebody were to pass by you and talk to you, and as long as you don't tell them you have cancer, they wouldn't know because you seem to be at least around people, your normal self, always positive, optimistic, cheerful, supportive. I don't think people would know. So I think you have a great attitude. You have the right approach
100%.
to this. You're tackling this. You're doing everything right. The community is stepping up. Your husband's stepping up. Your dad's stepping up. Everybody's stepping up. You got amazing kids as we met them, even though I call her Wisconsin. Shout out to Madison. Everybody's great. You're an amazing member of our pod fam. I'm so happy to have you here. And thank you for coming on and sharing this journey because what a wild year it's been.
It's been a wild year. And thank you guys. I feel very blessed to be part of your podcast and being friends and running into you guys. And yeah, ADU was awesome, Erica. You did great. It was under those conditions. That was a really
hurricane.
rough. That was a very rough night. I mean, our tents were blowing around, and that was a one for the books. But you came through as a trooper for sure, and cleanup was great.
Thank you.
Just love seeing you guys.
I can't thank you enough for just all the volunteering you do. Like, you were just so good to us. I know you would have liked, you might have liked to be out there. Like, I don't know if Anchor Down is really your style, but I mean, just the fact that you put in so much time. And the watermelon.
Amazing. I heard about that.
Yeah,
She was
Jen and I
watermelon queen.
Jen Smith and I did that the day before the race. We were at my house cutting up 8 or 10 watermelons, bagging them, cutting them up in cubes and slices for everyone because that is one of the favorites. So it was totally worth it and less sticky on race day because nothing's worse than having sticky fingers with no sink to wash your hands. So yeah, that
Exactly.
the pre-op cutting was worth it. So glad
we
you were
appreciate you. We appreciate you so much, more than I can even tell you.
Thank you.
Guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. The unfortunate circumstances to get her back on the podcast, but she's amazing. She's one of our favorites, Candice Burroughs on the On the Runs podcast.
Candice, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast and sharing your whole breast cancer experience. We love you so much, and we can't thank you enough for doing this. You are just the best.
The best. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I love, like, she's more to this podcast than just a guest. She's one of the very few who have my phone number. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
We've had
She's
some
a huge supporter. We love it.
Especially when I travel. Like, we have they're almost like meetings, like strategy meetings. They're really
love
cool.
it. She's a perfect mind to bounce ideas off of, and she's just has so many great ones herself. So thank you for everything, Candice. We
were just talking on our run about, like, I think people listen to this podcast, or we have guests that come on this podcast. Our next week's guest, something really amazing happened, right? He never heard of us. He heard of us through some friends when we were trying to find someone in his area. You'll hear this next week, but I think we do a really great job of selling something, and people think it's bigger than what it really is. Like, the growth of this podcast we've seen in the 2 years has been amazing. It's steady. It actually has climbed a little more this year, which is nice. It got a little steeper, the hockey stick, but
nice.
I think some of them think, like, oh my God, these guys are huge. They're the best. And
sure we are.
You can go and do this. You should. Candice goes to me one day, and I laughed. I'm sorry, Candice, but I laughed. She goes, I think you could do a live show at the Tokyo Marathon. And I was like, you are out of your mind, girl,
Eric,
but I love it.
We could go.
Yes. I love how much these people believe in us. And Candice is one of them who believes in us. And listeners come on and they're like, that was a really great experience. I think they're kind of taken back for a second. Like, this is great. And they're having a good time. And that's such a big compliment. I got a text message from my college roommate who does not listen to this podcast. I know he does not. He listened to the Doozer episode. I know that for a fact. But besides that, he doesn't, right? He texts me and says, hey, I just talked to so-and-so and said you had so-and-so on the podcast and they really had a great time. And I didn't know who the person he talked to. I didn't know he had a connection, right? But apparently he works with this person's girlfriend. And the girlfriend goes, hey, your friend Eric, who has the podcast, my boyfriend was on his podcast and he said it was amazing and it was blown out of the water. And I was like,
didn't he say it like right after we recorded
hours.
And his episode has not dropped yet. So word made it through the grapevine very quickly.
Yeah, it was so cool. And it was just like, that's a cool compliment. So the whole point was, back to Candice, is I think people, they really believe in us. And it's so cool. And Candice is a core person who believes in us. And
very heartwarming. I love having this kind of support. And we're giving it right back to you, especially everyone who helped this month. We have Stephanie and Lindsay and Christina and Aaron. And you guys have all collectively made this Breast Cancer Awareness Month so wonderful. And we are just so thankful for you. And we love you guys all so much. So just thank you for being part of our pod fam.
And the 6 amazing women before, and that all started with Nikki Bacon. In that same year, we had Jackie Hellier, and we even had Justine and Nicole in the whole 5K for Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love supporting this. So amazing. Let's see, 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 amazing, thriving women. Thank you so much. You ladies are rock stars. Angela Pohl, Jay Duncan, Sherry Todd, and Christine Lewis as well.
All of our favorites. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you for coming on and sharing these amazing stories about, like, an extremely challenging and hard part of your life. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And we appreciate it because you really have enlightened us, because it's not something I am well educated in, but now I feel like I have a better grasp of what you ladies have gone through. And as a reminder, let this be at least the last reminder for now. Check them out. Feel them on the first. Do your self exams, whatever it takes, but just take care of your bodies.
That's right. That's right. So moving on, can we talk about something that was really fun?
Do tell. What was really fun?
Sweater weather.
Oh, sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Finally, sweater weather.
I was totally upstaged by your sister and your daughter. They were super cute. Actually, Rachel upstaged me too, but we had a fun cast of characters who turned out for the sweater weather video, and we had a lot of fun making that.
Yeah, so a little bit of context. So these hoodies, because a lot of people are now interested in these hoodies, they are expensive.
Yes.
Right?
But worth it.
We bought these for us. In fact, the sweaters, the hoodies you see Rachel and Katie wearing, or Adeline and Hannah, or...
I mean, you're wearing yours right now. Right. I wish I was, but I turned out for the New York City Marathon, so I'm wearing my New York City sweatshirt.
But the hoodies they're wearing were our hoodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't like...
There are only 4 or 5, maybe 6 of them going around?
I think there's 6. So we actually offered them
Lena's got one.
Yeah, we offered them to all of our Patreons, and a few of them jumped on it, right? So that was like a Patreon special thing. I will say, if a lot of people are interested, if we got 20, I would go through the work, or maybe I would make Erica do the work, like ordering the hoodies and ordering the printing and all that. Maybe that could be work, but if
we'll
20 of you like committed and paid up front, listen, they're not cheap. All right, this is the most comfortable hoodie we've ever had on. It's from a company called Unreal. We actually bought the hoodies separate, then got them screen printed. The hoodies were $78 to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I'll just put it out there. If
not
you guys
cheap, but they are quality. Let me tell you.
If you are interested and you want us to do something like that, and I'll make it easy. If we got 15 people, we would do it, but there would be $100. I'm putting it out there right now, and it would be prepaid because we have to buy the hoodies to then we got to pay for the screen printing. But they do have, I don't know if people notice, it had the sneaky stoolie on the back.
Why don't you show everybody? Do a little turn on the catwalk.
I have cables.
Oh, damn it. Yeah. Well, go watch the sweater weather video and you'll see a sneaky stoolie. Oh, you can kind of see him. There we go.
Well, I'm going to post like the outtakes or the behind the scenes in a couple of days. You guys will see that soon.
Nice.
But it got me thinking. That was a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun editing that. I had a lot of fun with the outtakes that you'll see soon. All right. Something I've said I don't want to do next year is the monthly recaps. Right?
It's a lot of work for you. Yeah.
You can do it if you want them to continue. But
I don't know if I can pull and do them justice like you do. I mean, I can always try.
Here's what I'm thinking.
You see why I don't do a lot of reels? Because I'm not good at them.
So we've mentioned before, like in group chats and stuff, we're like, hey, we should do this or we should do that. And we never actually do it. I could be down for like, hey, let's do one a month. Every month could be themed. I already know what we're doing for February, by the way. But this is where I can use the listeners' help. All right. So if you see like something that is going viral or something that just is going to come up, like in the fall would be sweater weather, right? And in July, you're like, hey, you guys should do a sweater weather video. And we need like at least 45 days to prep and plan this. Like we might need to buy props for something. So it's not like you tell us, hey, you should do this viral video and do it tomorrow. Like we can't do that. But we could plan out a year's worth of videos. One for January, one for February. I'll give you a clue what February is already. We're going to do a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, okay. I remember now. Awesome. Yes. Okay.
We're doing
I'm very excited.
In fact, we're doing 2, but we're going to do it. And here's the cool part. A lot of people were like, I wish I was in that sweater weather video too. Like when this happens and when we come up with themes and ideas, we're going to need your help too. And it's not like we have to be there. For instance, everyone sent us their sweater weather video. Tara sent me it. Lindsay sent me it. You know, I did the ones with Adeline and Hannah. You did the one with Katie and Rachel. Like we could do this and we don't always have to be there. We just have to come up with the concept for each month, take the videos, make the content, and then I got to piece it together. And that will be like I said, like, every year I want to do something new or original. Like, I don't know if I'm doing Code Brown Commandments next year. What am I going to do? Last year was the Instagram picture.
Yep.
This year was Code Brown Commandments. What am I
Time to
going to do
start
next
thinking
year?
about a new something, but yeah,
Right.
it takes time. It takes time to figure that out.
But those videos are fun. People love them and react great to them. The engagement's cool. The response is great. It will get some people involved. Like maybe an I'll use this for an example. May the 4th. Like maybe we do a May the 4th be with you type of video. Star Wars something. Like, but it's on the runs related too. Like the hoodie, the video was our on the runs hoodie. So yeah. Think of things, guys, if you're listening. And thank you to the 2 people who sent me porta potty videos or the audio of the door.
Oh, you got some people who. So, all right, I did try, but mine was a dud. It had the very slow closing door. I was very sad about that.
But I'm expecting more this week because this week is
Hamster Wheel, the dumbest race in New Hampshire. I'm very excited for this.
Cold and windy, you said too, right?
Well, it's going to be cold. Yeah, it's like a high of 50 something with a low of 28. And I'm like, oh no. that was pretty easy derailer last year, just being so cold. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But
it was cold last year. I thought it was cold the year before was warm.
The year before was warm. That was the year when, like, it's always the same weekend as New York City.
It was the first year the camper was there. Or the only
first year the camper was there when we didn't need it. So of course I'm like, eh. And then last year the camper was not there, and Rachel pretty much froze in a tent. Like she was not having a good time. I like took a 3-hour break. I'm just like, I'm cold. I went on a sleeping bag. So this year I have the big goal of hitting the 100, and I will not quit. I will not quit. So I don't even want to stop. I have 30 hours, yes. So I'm going to hit it one way or the other. And my goal is to not stop. But I did my homework for you, getting a huge collection of people to come join us at camp. So you promised to bring the camper. Yeah, go ahead. Back out. I dare you. Actually, you did tell me that your dad was a little mad and that I felt bad. So I'm like, I mean, if you have to.
No, the camper's coming, but it's the way they're parked is he parked them for the winter, right? And now he has to.
Oh, no.
He blocks mine, and he was about to put the cover on his.
Oh, so now he has to move it to get yours out. And it's
has to now delay putting the cover because technically he has winterized them, right? He emptied out all the the water hoses with air, so there's no water in there to freeze, and he's got the stuff, and all we got to do is put the covers on. So the camper is coming. But you obviously know you have no power, so you're going to have no heat.
It's just going to be warmer than outside. A little bit of insulation, just something.
I mean, you could lie down with blankets and stuff or sleeping bags. Like at least you have indoors to lie down. It's still going to be freaking like 28 degrees in that camper. But you'll have no water, no power. You'll actually have enough power from a battery to like power the fridge. So you could put like a drink in the fridge, but it would probably that'd be like warming it up because it would be colder outside.
That's no problem. Yeah, I have some portable lanterns, so I'll leave one inside and I'll keep one. And like, I'm still bringing my Easy Up. Tara's going to be there and Katie Pisani is going to be there. And I told them that they could share my thing. But I mean, if the camper's there too, that helps.
You're bringing the banner, right?
I am bringing the banner and I'm going to hang it up because that's how everybody's going to know where to camp near us.
Awesome. So I have to be there Saturday morning.
I mean, it would help, but I mean, we can always try to save you a spot.
Well, no, like I can't get there Friday, right?
I'm not sure. I know you're not supposed to camp overnight, but I don't know that you can't drop it off, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that'd
I can reach out to
Saturday. I'll have to do it Saturday. Saturday will be easier because it'll be daylight.
I'm getting there early. I'm planning on getting there at like 6 a.m. if I can finagle it because I'm driving myself. Whew. Yep. My car is big enough now that I don't need Brandon to drop me off and he actually gets to sleep and not cart my ass to New Boston.
How are you going to get home?
I'll drive.
After 100 miles?
I did it during Not View. That was when I was awake for like 48 hours.
You almost died.
I was up for like 49 hours, something ridiculous like that.
Brutal. Oh my God.
I'll take a nap. I'll take a nap before I come home, or I'll try to at least. But at least it's only like a 35-minute drive home, which is way better than the 2.5 from Notchview.
Very cool. Another big race this weekend is the New York City Marathon. Do we know anyone running? We do,
yes,
right?
we do. Yep. We got, of course, Aaron. I think Allie G. Is Allie G running?
Yep.
And then, of course, who else would be running it? Wyatt.
Of course, Wyatt's running it.
Of course, Wyatt's running it. So, yep. Trying to think of who else is going to be there.
Is Bex running it? Is any of the Peloton instructors running it? Is Josh Vernon running? No, he just did Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He's cheering. He told me he'll be there. He's going to find Erin and cheer for her. That was it.
I love
that's why
it.
He sparked my mind. And by the way, not to get off topic, but week 1 of Power Zone Pack.
How'd it
yours
go?
Truly 100% completed week 1. I had a good week. I ran 20 miles.
You ran 20 miles. You did your first like platinum Power Zone week. You ran with me today. I mean, you're on a roll, dude. You have less than 2 weeks before your marathon. How are you feeling? Are you ready?
I got the distance in me now. I know I do. I did the 20, so I'm good.
Do you have a goal, or are you just going to see what happens?
I have a goal. I don't know if I should go public with it.
I mean, put it on the board, man. Manifest it.
My coach ran a marathon last week. It was like a 4:17, maybe.
Oh,
she had a bad day. Let's be honest. Nicole's goals, and Nicole probably could run a 3:05, but she ran a 4:17. When she says, "All right, what's your goal?" I'm going to take her time and make it shorter by 1 second.
By literally 1 second. Well, if you're going to do that, I think you should get it right. She did like a 4:14, so
okay,
don't do a 4:17, because then you're going to mess up your own.
Actually, a 4:14 would be a great goal for me. So I don't think I'm going to get the sub 4 that I thought maybe like 6 months ago when I thought about this, just because the training hasn't been the best. But it's been waves. That's what it's been.
But you have
20 miler.
You've been doing hills, and hills pay the bills. So,
oh my God,
and you know Manchester's hilly.
Yeah, I'm prepared. I got the 26.2.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day. The guy's running to the finish line, right? And he looks at his watch and he has like another like 0.2 to go. And so at the finish line, he ran like in 3 circles before he crossed the line.
Dude, I have done that before. Do you remember my Garmin marathon from Kansas?
Yeah.
It was short, and I had to
you for like a state or something, and you have to go back.
So it counts for marathon maniacs because a lot of people put up a fight about it, but it does not count for the 50 States Club, which technically I'm not even a part of yet. I never signed up for that. But if I ever want to officially get the 50 states, according to them, I will have to rerun Kansas. But anyways, yeah, I was like, damn it, my watch doesn't say it. And you can't just let your watch not say it. You get a Garmin badge if you run a marathon. So I had to finish.
Hey, I teased before Candice's episode, we have a congratulations to shout out.
Do tell.
We have a core member of our pod fam, even though he's never been on the podcast, but a core member of our pod fam who's been supporting us since day one. And when I say day one, like the day I made an Instagram account, the day I talked about this, he's been a huge supporter of us, of the whole thing. He's been involved in races we've done. Like he'll be at Hamster Wheel. He's been on the Penguins. But a huge congratulations to Mr. J Parent and Miss Jackie on getting engaged. Yeah!
Can I just say that is an awesome way to propose, Jay? He proposed to her at Machu Picchu, which is like so baller. I don't know. But huge congratulations.
Just as cool, he has a picture. The two of them have a picture wearing our On the Runs t-shirts in the same spot.
They're the best.
Only would have been better if the engagement had their shirts on, but I think they threw them on after. I wonder, was the t-shirt photo pre-engagement or post-engagement? But it was pretty cool. Yeah, they got engaged.
But either way that they did it was wonderful, and I'm so happy for you too.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let me talk about Jay for a second and tell you why I love this guy. I came back from North Carolina when I was working in NASCAR, broke, no money, injured, like recovering from an injury from getting run over by a race car.
Yep.
Didn't know what I was going to do. Didn't know if I was going to go back to North Carolina, any of that stuff, right? But I go to a CrossFit gym that a friend of mine from high school owned. And this guy, Jay, shows up with no shirt on to work out. If you see Jay with a shirt on, he's at a place that probably requires shirts, okay? So he became like my workout buddy, and he freaking pushed me to like get stronger and get abs and a six-pack and look great without a shirt on. And he achieved that for a little while until I got older and had kids. But then we started hanging out. He actually set me up on like a blind date once. That was a lot of fun. We would do like lobster nights every like other Thursday night at his house and have people over for dinner, bonfires in the backyard. And then I was his roommate for like a year.
Oh, nice. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. And he did the Tough Mudders with us. Like I introduced him to you and everyone, and he's all for a good time and doing those things. And he's like super fit and always up for a challenge. And he took me to a lot of Patriots games, and he had to deal with me. Like one time this might have been my last game. Maybe I pissed him off, but I went dressed up in a gorilla costume. I don't think I pissed him off. I actually think he had a good time. But I would always be his first call if he wasn't taking a girl or a girlfriend. I'd be his first call. So I was dressed as a gorilla at the Patriots AFC Championship game. I was dressed as Bigfoot during Deflategate. So I always said Bigfoot deflated those footballs.
It's all your fault.
Yeah. Oh,
now
not my fault.
He's got a permanent guest, so no more tickets for you.
That was so much fun because so many people would come up and take photos with me. People were staring at me in the lines, and I was doing like when you're behind a big mask like that, you can be whoever you want to be and be in character, and it's fun. Maybe he's just like wanted to watch the game or something. I don't know. I think he had a good time. Tell me, Jay, but congratulations. And if you want, we will MC your wedding. We'll podcast live from the wedding. Maybe we could do a pre-wedding like 5K.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do the 5K. Jay's gonna just run an ultra for the hell of it.
Let's do an ultra the week, like for your bachelor party. Let's do an ultra.
Well, we'll figure out when it is. Maybe it'll be Javelina. We'll all go to Javelina. We.
So congratulations, man. I think that's really freaking cool to see that. So I'm happy for you.
Yay.
All right. I hate to bring the mood down, but I'm going to bring the mood down a little bit because when we recorded last, it was before we heard the news of Alyssa Lockett's.
Mm-hmm.
So she was tragically killed the other day in the broad daylight. She yelled and screamed for help. And people heard her. And no one was around close enough to do anything in time, but like this happens. We were talking earlier. Eliza Fletcher, we all remember 2022, October. It's been 2 years since Eliza was tragically killed during a run as well. That happened at like 5 a.m. during a normal run she does all the time. And I'm looking at a list here of 141 people who've been killed while running. Now, this goes way back to 1975.
Oh, that is a staggering number.
Right. 141. One is way too many. And so we've seen a lot of posts, right? A lot of posts of like, well, run with a friend or run in the daylight. That would, you'd think it would work, but most of these are done in the middle of the broad daylight, right? And everyone's like, here's where I'm getting at. Cause I'm kind of springing this on you. It got me to do a lot of thinking this week. I'm kind of happy we're a week after where we can talk about it versus like right when it happened. I saw so many posts that were like, we should be allowed to run and we should be allowed to run by ourselves in the daylight whenever we want. And I agree with it all. I'm kind of tired of like just seeing the posts. I'm kind of like, what can we do? What can we do to like make that happen? To like make an impact in like to Lindsay the other day, maybe a month or two ago, said like how she felt unsafe running. I won't say where, but here in Manchester in a spot that she used to run in all the time. She goes, I don't feel safe. Just because of like a lot of the homeless activity and just because of some of the weird things you might see. I don't know what the answer is, but I think the social media posts and everything, I want it. I don't know. Like there should be some type of community coming together and gathering more than just making posts about it. Right. I read an article about her and it just talked about, oh, she went to this school and she did this and her family said she was this kind of person. All great things. But I'm like, who's going to do something? And I'm almost wondering, like, could we try to do, I don't know if it's even us, but do you remember when I was a kid, I remember a girl got, her house got robbed. And it like shockwaves through our town, right? Everyone's like, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe like someone came in, broke into their house and stole all their stuff. It was a girl I went to school with. Oh, wait. It's actually the girl who owned the CrossFit gym I told you about earlier.
Oh, no way.
Her family's house got robbed. At this time, there was no internet or anything. So what I remember after that was all the homes in Sandown all started getting these stickers, and we put them on our windows. It was like a neighborhood watch sticker, and it was black and orange, and it had like the outline of a criminal or something, like the guy from McDonald's or whatever with the hat. And it's like, hey, don't come here and think you can rob our houses because we're watching out for our neighbors. How can we do a similar message? How can we say a similar message or do a similar thing like saying, hey, you can't do this because we're out here watching out for everyone and we're going to protect everyone? Because Erica, you should be able to go feel like you can run by yourself anywhere you want at any time of the day or night and not feel scared. And I understand we're far, far, far away from there. But I just feel like there needs to be more action done. That's where I'm getting.
That is the dilemma. That really is the dilemma. I don't know what else we can do. And this, I know it is a problem for anybody, but it is happening mostly to women. And I honestly don't have any ideas. Like, besides having run clubs, which are wonderful because you have your safety in numbers, but how many do you need? Because we've had those occasions where somebody running with a buddy still gets hurt. And I don't know.
People have been killed while running with a friend.
Yes.
Like,
and it's terrible.
You should be able to feel like you can run wherever, whenever, with anyone or by yourself, with music or without. You shouldn't have to carry pepper spray. You told me today you had pepper spray on you, even though you're running with me. You always have it. Justine runs with a gun.
Just ways to try to stay safe. I mean, of course, there are things that can happen, but just any little thing we can do, we're going to. But the violence just needs to stop. I don't know what it's going to take. It's so frustrating.
I feel like maybe there needs to be some kind of community outreach or something. I don't know if
I feel like that's more community outrage. Like you're putting it out there for awareness, but it's riling people up. And I mean, we should be angry. We are angry.
Yeah. Well, you hear about it a lot when it happens. And I wish there was some type of place, and maybe there is. Maybe I'm a guy. I don't know, right? Maybe there is a women's running community out there, like this neighborhood watch thing that has each other's back. And that's like, hey, if you want to be a part of this community. And
honestly, that's like She Runs This Town.
Yeah,
we do
you're right.
Group runs and we try to do the safety and numbers thing. So that is a way to help elevate safety.
Well, if there is something out there that I'm unaware of, because you mentioned She Runs This Town, I don't think of that because I'm not part of it. It's a women's only group. And you all talk about like someone might be doing a training run, right? And they might be like, hey, I need a pacer. And another woman's like, I'm doing the same run that day. I'll pace you. Or it might be, hey, I'm looking for someone to run with at this time because I can only get out at night. Will someone run with me? I love that. And if there's a group or a community like that out there, let us know. Let me know. Monday Night Media would love to like support that and would love to make a difference if we can. And Erica's like, what are you talking about? We didn't talk about, this is all on my own that I'm thinking about because
I love that you're putting this out there. Like it does make me, I'm very encouraged, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but I love that there are people out there who do want to help and stop this violence against women. If there's anything that I can help with, I'm more than happy to also. I
hate that it happens. And I also hate that we only really talk about it after it happens.
Which is awful. This is a common occurrence, unfortunately. I just don't know. It needs to stop. But yeah, if we can bring more awareness to it and just make women feel safer, yes, I'm all for it.
Looking at this list, 9 women have been killed running since Eliza Fletcher 2 years ago. That's 9 too many. I don't feel like we talk about it enough.
Far too many.
And yeah, if there is that community out there that I'm missing because I don't know about it, and I'm thinking there has to be, because you mentioned she runs this town, maybe that is it. But if not, let me know. Let us know. The whole Monday Night Media thing, like, we'll support that, just like we support Women Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I really I want you to feel safe running out there by yourself if you want to run by yourself at night, at day, wherever, however. I feel terrible that you have to carry pepper spray or gun. Here's the other thing. It is really weird, and it's really weird for me because I'm more aware of it now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel weird sometimes running by myself, catching up to a woman on the trail.
That is a weird thing. You just have to just be like, on your left, or let us know ahead of time.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully the person you're running by can hear you, because that's definitely, nobody wants to be snuck up on, you know?
It plays mind games in my head, and I'll tell you why. Because, like, if I'm just a little faster, I'm catching up to them slowly, like at a creeping pace. But then if I pick up my pace to get by them quicker, it sounds like now I'm really chasing them. And I don't know whether to look at you or not look at you, acknowledge you, wave, whatever. I'm a guy who likes to wave or say, hey, how you doing? But, like, it's very weird and uncomfortable. I'll be completely honest. You and I ran by a girl today who was by herself on the National Rail Trail. It was dark out because it was getting dark.
It was getting dark, yeah.
If I was by myself without you, I would have felt like uncomfortable. I truly I feel uncomfortable running by women when I'm by myself, and I've been taking a couple days off from work, right? Or one day to run 20 miles. And I pass a lot of walkers out there by themselves. And it was just, I didn't know, like, most of these happen in the broad daylight, over 70% of them. So,
yep. I mean, you could just, like I said, just make your presence known. Just say, like, on your left. And a lot of times I'll just be like, thanks, and hope you go by, which you do. So yeah, just don't be the creepy guy who, like, lingers behind somebody. Like, we can hear you, hopefully. And I mean, if you need to put in a little extra effort to just go ahead, please do. Because sometimes that helps too.
So yeah, if there's something out there, let us know. If you're more comfortable talking to Erica and having Erica be a part of that, like taking the lead in that, like, I'm all for it. Like, whatever works. Well, yeah, Alyssa Lockett's, I'm so sorry. It seems like she had an amazing family. It's horrible. But I wanted to say that because I feel like, you know, we've been around, and I want to show support.
Yeah. It is an uneasy topic, and it's just something that we have to say. I mean, has to be gone over.
However we can help, guys. If you know,
Please.
Let us know. Our pod fam, let us know. I know a lot of you out there. I have a feeling, and when I say Monday Night Media, like, I'm talking Allie G and Nicole, I think will be major roles in that. I know Nicole is definitely, if Run Your Mind was rolling right now as a weekly podcast, I think she'd be all over it. And yeah, so
that would actually be a really good topic for her to cover.
Yep. And I think Justine would be one too as well, because we know she runs with the gun. So do what you feel you need to do to feel safe. I'm sorry that you have to do that. It sucks. And go check out Laura Green put out a reel. She did it 2 years ago when Eliza was killed, and she posted it again. And that's one I liked, because I felt like at least it told you what I need to know. And
I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah. So that one gave me the spark of, like, okay, hers was different than all the other posts for some reason to me. And probably because she's Laura Green and she makes professional videos for a living. So she was able to put a little more than just another post. But yeah, so
Gotcha.
that's that. I'm sorry I brought the mood down right after we were pumping the tires for Jay Parent getting engaged. But yeah. So
to bring it back up a little bit, I know this is kind of a mood swing, right? But I don't know if you've heard, but Will Run For recently had one of our pod fam on, They're inside the runner studio,
They did.
which I mentioned a few weeks ago. They also had me on, but they haven't dropped my episode yet. So do you know who they had on?
Yes, because I was waiting for midnight last night.
You
because
were like ready.
I thought it was going to be you. I was like, okay, last week they had a normal episode and their episodes drop at midnight, unlike ours 4 a.m. And at the same time, the Instagram post drops at midnight. So like Michael will make the Instagram post like I do hours ahead of time sometimes, maybe even day ahead of time, and schedule it. So I'm waiting for it to come out, and I fell asleep before midnight, but I just wanted to see if it was you. And then when I woke up at like 6:30, and you're like trying to wake up, open your eyes, you get the phone, check anything happened in the last couple hours. No, okay, no emergencies. Check out Instagram. Boom, there it was. And it wasn't you. It was Josh Rayom, our friend from Canada, the asthma runner who has an amazing, beautiful Canadian accent. The guy who like ran into a bear on his first run.
He was the whole premise behind you using that as your Code Brown commandment example.
That's my example all the time.
Happens.
Thou shall, or that's a Code Brown running into a bear. Code Brown, I'm going to shit myself.
That's right.
Josh Rayom was on, they do every other week, is called the Inside the Runner Studio. And I was so pumped up because I got to hear, I didn't know he was on. I was like shocked. This is amazing.
I had a little bit of insider info when I talked to the whole gang afterwards.
It was good. I'm not going to spoil it, but one of the last questions they ask, I'll tell you the question. It's, when you ultimately die and go to heaven, what do you want God to say to you when you come through the gates?
Mm-hmm.
He had the greatest answer of all.
Oh.
Yes, it was great.
So I have to still go listen because I was not up at midnight either. So I will go back and listen.
It was great. It's a short one. The Inside the Runner Studio guys, it was like never longer than 25 minutes. So they're great episodes. Maybe mine was a little longer. Maybe Erica's was too. I told you to go last.
Right around the same.
Yeah, but go last so there's no like, oh, we got to end this. But yeah, he was awesome. Thanks for bringing the mood up.
I tried. Yeah. We love Josh. I mean, he was one of the nicest people we've had on the podcast, and he's just super supportive. And
well, those Canadians, they're so nice, They just they love.
Here you go making fun of his acts.
they have a great time up there. They love the hockey players, and bunch of wilderness up there, eh?
Oot and a boot.
They run in the cold, and they do.
He runs in the cold. Yeah. I don't know how he runs in the cold. I hate it.
Celsius.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of running in the cold.
Oh, wait. I need to also congratulate Josh because I didn't know this, but he had a huge PR on his marathon this summer in Toronto, and he ran a sub-4. It was like an hour, 20-minute something PR.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
That just shows how hardworking Josh is that is an unfathomable number. Like an hour and 20-minute PR.
Not only that.
Well done.
So that was in May or June. His previous PR was like 9 months earlier in the fall. So he did all that training in the Canadian winter, and he doesn't run indoors.
And here I am, like
it's all outside.
I'm so proud of you, Josh. That is unreal. You worked so hard for it. It is well deserved.
And I'm really happy Will Run For had them on. Like I love that they had someone on from a pod fam. Erin asked me, she goes, I'm starting the cancer podcast. Pace yourself, it's just cancer. And she's like, I hope you don't mind if we have some of your previous guests on. I go, absolutely. Like our pod fam is your pod fam. These women are amazing. These people are amazing. Like get their story out there on all these other platforms. So I'm so pumped they did it. That was such a cool surprise to me. I don't think I knew.
But speaking of running outside, I finally reached out to KJ, and I'm going to start working with her in December to try to do well during the cheap marathon in the spring.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to be doing
Eric is getting a run coach.
But I'm going to have to do some outside runs, and God, I'm going to complain the whole way, but I'll do it. I want a sub-4.
You've been talking about hiring KJ for over a year.
I have. And now that my ultra season is coming to an end, I have the winter to just rebuild and try to get faster. That's the goal.
Wait a second. You said sub 4?
Yeah, I want another sub 4.
Another. So you've done a sub 4 before.
I've done 2, but they're
Okay.
barely.
All right. That's awesome.
And I know what I'm in for the cheap marathon. I've done it twice. I've done okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how hard it is to run that fast, but I'm going to try my hardest.
All right. Well, before we go, we have a surprise guest, and Adeline is here. And Adeline is wearing a t-shirt. And Adeline, come here to the mic.
Ooh, ooh.
Tell everyone what your t-shirt says.
State champions.
State champions! Yeah, Adeline! Congratulations, they won the state championship. So now they have regionals. And if they do good in regionals, and when I say good, I think you need to place top 3.
Mm-hmm.
You go to nationals. Are you excited?
Yeah.
How was your state championship performance and the whole day? Like, tell everyone you got, like, this was a long day. You went to coach's house. You had team breakfast. You all got ready and dressed and makeup there. Tell all the listeners about your day.
So, like my dad said, we had breakfast at my coach's grandma's house. And then we went to the competition. And then after that, I had to stay for our D14 session. And in their session, it was like a whole nother 2 hours because my mom was volunteering. And
But like before the whole competition at the house, you had breakfast, but the whole team was there. The parents are there. You were doing everyone's doing makeup. How was that? Was that a lot of fun? What happened there?
It was really fun. And there's like kind of cardio dances, not really cardio. There's like fun dances that you can do with partners and stuff. And
That sounds like a
really
blast.
liked that. We kind of marked through our routine a couple times, optional.
It was great. Your performance was awesome. You got thrown really high. You're doing really good. You're practicing. She's a flyer, so she's always on the top.
Oh, yeah. She's just a tiny thing. She goes real high.
They did great. So next week they actually have a competition, but it's not regionals. And then regionals, I think, is the weekend after the marathon, and it's in Lowell. I think it's in the Songus Arena. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Like, you got all the best from New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and
Oh, boy.
yep, D10. Go D10. Go Manchester East Cobras. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun episode, Erica. I had a blast. So the fact that she is home now means they just got home from cheerleading practice. So
Perfect time to wrap it up.
perfect time to wrap it up, guys. If you love us, if you want to get the inside scoop on hoodies one day, join our Patreon page, because that's where when these things happen, we offer it to them first all the time. And if enough of you, if what I say, 15,
15
would
bare minimum.
pre-order, we'll go through the legwork to try to make that happen. And we'll try to do it quickly, because this stuff we'll try to just expedite it.
Yeah.
Per se, maybe in December when we take the month off. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm so sorry. I suck at posting those videos. They're all uploaded, but Threads, I'll thread more. TikTok, Tara's on the TikTok for us. Facebook, if you really love us, like I said, Patreon, and be a friend of the pod or a lover of the pod, $4 and $9 help support us. This is a lot of fun. What an episode. What a day. We got to run in, Erica. We had a lot to talk about. Good luck to everyone running in the New York City Marathon. Good luck to everyone in the hamster wheel. And have an amazing Halloween, guys. I can't wait to go trick-or-treating with the kids. Erica, take us home.
One quick thing before I do my spiel. I want to give a huge shout out to Tara Pterodactyl. She has an awesome post-surgery PR from her half marathon this weekend. And also a shout out to Jared Ewing for absolutely demolishing a 50K, the Marine Corps.
50K.
He did a faster 50K than I've ever run a marathon.
Amazing.
I'm so in awe with that guy.
You know what he gets? You know what he gets?
Well deserved. Well deserved. So now
That's better than the applause. So yeah,
it really is.
We'll call it the PR horn.
Perfect.
Right.
So now that I got to shout out some people, we want to thank you guys for listening. Be safe out there. You know we love you.
Don't fear the code brown.
And don't forget to stretch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the On the
I
Run
dare
podcast.
you to do that because everybody's going to be like, what is wrong with Eric? Is he okay? Somebody check on him.
Hello, everybody, and hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode 132 of the On the Runs podcast. It's been a busy week. Lots of great things have been happening for Erica. None for me.
You
So let me
okay, bud?
introduce my co-host, 6-star Erica. How are you?
I don't think you could sound any more sad unless you were actually crying.
All right, here we go.
You better bring the energy or I'm going to have to do it.